What if the NASCAR Hall of Fame is not as exclusive as many believe? A current Cup Series driver has raised concerns that are now sparking a broader conversation across the sport. Denny Hamlin, speaking on his podcast Actions Detrimental, recently questioned the current Hall of Fame selection process. His main point is straightforward. He believes too many drivers are being inducted too quickly. At present, NASCAR selects 3 new Hall of Fame members each year. According to Hamlin, that pace may not reflect the level of elite talent entering the sport annually. He also raised another key issue, whether accomplishments outside the Cup Series should carry the same weight when evaluating Hall of Fame candidates. This discussion is not new, but Hamlin's comments have brought renewed attention to it. Historically, the NASCAR Hall of Fame has aimed to balance 2 priorities. First, recognizing the sport's greatest competitors. Second, preserving the full history of NASCAR, including regional and developmental series. However, the structure of the sport has evolved. Today, the Cup Series is widely considered the highest level of competition. It represents the sport's top tier with the strongest fields and greatest visibility. Because of that, Hamlin's argument challenges a fundamental question. What should define a Hall of Fame career in modern NASCAR? Within the garage, this conversation carries weight. Drivers are evaluated based on wins, championships, and long-term impact. If the Hall of Fame standard changes, it could influence how future careers are judged. From an analytical standpoint, Hamlin's argument centers on supply and demand. There are typically between 35 and 40 full-time Cup drivers in any given season. Only a small number of those drivers consistently perform at an elite level. At the same time, 3 Hall of Fame spots are filled every year. Over time, that could create a gap between the number of inductees and the number of truly standout careers. Hamlin suggests that eventually this may lower the threshold for induction. If that happens, it could affect how fans view the achievements of historically dominant drivers such as Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, and Richard Petty. Another part of the discussion involves performance at the Cup level. Hamlin's position is that success at the highest level should be the primary factor in Hall of Fame consideration. He compares this to other sports, where performance in top-tier competition is essential for recognition at the highest level. However, this perspective is not without challenges. NASCAR's history includes significant contributions from drivers in regional and developmental series. In earlier eras, those series played a major role in shaping the sport's identity. Excluding or minimizing those achievements could overlook an important part of NASCAR's heritage. There is also the idea of restructuring the Hall of Fame itself. One suggestion is to introduce tiers or categories of recognition. This would allow the sport to honor a wider range of contributors while still distinguishing the most accomplished careers. While that concept has potential, it also raises questions. Reporting criteria, maintaining fairness, preserving respect for current inductees would all be critical factors. Reaction to Hamlin's comments has been mixed. Some fans agree that the Hall of Fame should be highly selective, with stricter standards for entry. Others believe it should continue to represent the full scope of NASCAR history, including all levels of competition. From a broader perspective, this debate reflects how a sport defines and preserves its legacy. Looking ahead, there are 2 possible outcomes. In one scenario, NASCAR could adjust its selection process. This might include fewer annual inductees or stricter voting requirements, increasing the exclusivity of the honor. In the other scenario, the current system remains unchanged. Over time, some may feel that the significance of induction becomes less distinct. This brings us to the central question. Should the NASCAR Hall of Fame focus primarily on Cup Series achievement, or should it continue to recognize contributions across all levels of the sport? And does Denny Hamlin's perspective strengthen the value of the Hall of Fame, or does it narrow its purpose too much? We invite you to share your thoughts. And for more in-depth sports coverage and analysis, be sure to subscribe.